Tonight on The South Today, a Dunedin author with a book fit for a prince is getting high praise from the top of the tree. Police are beefing up their roadside testing to stamp out drink drivers on our roads. And an apprentice butcher from Otago is preparing to compete on the world stage. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. A Dunedin author had an exciting start to her day when she learned at the same time as everyone else a children's book she wrote has been given to Prince William by the Prime Minister. Jacinda Ardern presented a copy of Emma Wood's Tulip and Doug, a spudtacular friendship story, to the Duke of Cambridge over the weekend.
Not bad for a first published effort. Dunedin author Emma Wood's first children's book has gone to New Zealand's Prime Minister and is now in the hands of Prince William and Kate Middleton.
It was just a regular Sunday until I looked at my phone and I saw that I had dozens of messages from friends and well-wishers who were sharing the news with me that the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, had gifted my book, Tulip and Doug, to Prince William at Kensington Palace, which was pretty amazing.
So imagine William and Kate, also known as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, reading this to Prince George, Princess Charlotte, or even little Prince Louis.
Tulip and Doug, friends for almost ever. Tulip was famous in her neighbourhood for two reasons. One, she was a fearless adventurer. Two, she went everywhere with a seriously strange sidekick, a potato.
It's the sixth children's book Emma Wood has written, but the first one accepted for publication. She says Tulip and Doug's tale came about from listening to a radio podcast about a person who'd named a pet rock.
There was a person on there who was talking about when they were a child that they had a rock that they called John, I think, and they used to push it around in a pram. And I thought that was a really great idea for a kid's book. And then as I was writing it, I thought, oh, a potato might be even funnier than a rock. So that's how Doug was born.
Emma Wood is a career journalist and communications professional and is juggling family life with freelance work and writing more children's books. However, there is some potentially bad news for fans of Doug the Spud.
Possibly his adventures are up. He's retired now, but Tulip will have more, no doubt.
She says her mother sent a copy of Tulip and Doug to Jacinda Ardern shortly after her daughter Neve was born.
I owe this all to her, really. I think, yeah, she sent the Prime Minister a copy when she had her daughter, which she just did off her own, on her own, and you know, told me about it afterwards. But yeah, go mum.
The book deals with themes of friendship and being accepting of friendships being perhaps a little different or quirky, and knowing that there are other people out there just like you. Emma Wood has more books at the end of her fingertips, but can't say too much about that yet. In Dunedin, The South Today.
A warning, the following video story contains strobing lights. A Dunedin couple had a traumatic awakening on Saturday morning after a car ploughed through a wall of their house and hit the bed they were sleeping in. The couple was sound asleep in their Bayview Road home before being rudely awoken at 2:45 in the morning. A Mercedes-Benz went through the fence and crashed into the bedroom, shoving the bed into the middle of the room. The couple say they woke up hysterical and unable to process what was happening. They gave the driver credit for staying put and calling emergency services. Police inquiries are ongoing. Police are beefing up their roadside testing for drink drivers in and around Queenstown. A specialist driving impairment team is now operating in the area in the hope their presence will encourage drivers to make better decisions.
Buckling down on drink drivers in Queenstown. Queenstown is one of the top drink driving hotspots in New Zealand. The serious issue became a topic of discussion back in 2017 after the amount of convictions hit a peak in the district. A Safer Roads team has now been formed in and around the district, including a sergeant and 5 constables. They cover an area from Glenorchy all the way through to central Otago. Sergeant Bridget Martin says she is hoping drivers will take more care before getting behind the wheel.
We need to remind people that we are out there and they will get tested. Every traffic stop, they will get tested for alcohol. So we need people to make those decisions before they drive about keeping everyone safe, not just them, but all the other road users as well.
The new team has a goal of conducting 5,000 breath screening tests every month. And now with overseas tourists steadily returning to the tourism jewel of Queenstown, police are expecting a ramp-up of convictions. Sergeant Martin says moving the needle of change comes from a combined effort.
So I think that it's super important for all communities to get behind these types of operations and change that culture, change that behaviour of drink driving.
While breath screening has increased in regions such as Southland and Otago over the past 5 years, it is still a focus for police in other regions around the country, looking to secure their targets and keep people safe on the roads. In Arrowtown, the South Today.
Dunedin police were called to a collision between two cars, followed by an apparent street robbery near the Oval this afternoon. Police say they were notified of the incidents at the intersection of Princess and Maitland Streets around 3 p.m. A witness said it looked like the collision happened when one driver decided to do a U-turn and their car was hit on its side. There was no indication of any injuries. Not long after, police became aware of a possible street robbery in the area around 3:15. A young Dunedin butcher has been named in a 4-strong Kiwi team of meat carvers who are preparing to compete with meat on the world stage. Apprentice butcher Isaac Webster is currently working at Dunedin's Gardens New World supermarket, but will be jetting to America later this year.
Getting ready to carve up the competition. Dunedin butchery apprentice Isaac Webster has been cutting his teeth in the industry at the Gardens New World supermarket. Now he's been picked as one of the country's top young hopes, named to take part in the World Championship Butcher Apprentice and Young Butcher competition.
Because I won the competition last year, Retail Meat NZ are paying for all of my travel and accommodation for my trip as a part of that prize, so I'm really lucky, really lucky.
He's one of 4 in the Ansco Foods Young Butchers of New Zealand team who will compete in Sacramento, California this September. And while he's still an apprentice, Webster's a dab hand with a blade and no stranger to taking out the competition.
So last year I won the New Zealand Butcher Apprentice of the Year after competing in a regional one, which I won the Otago Southland Regional, went on to the national final and where I was up against people from all around the country.
Webster met his teammates in Auckland recently during some promotional events and also got to meet the Knife Blacks, Aotearoa's top butchery team. He's now got a few months to bone up on his techniques, so he's ready to be put through his paces. The New Zealand team will take on butchers from 10 countries in the 5th year of the international competition, with the Kiwis hoping to be a cut above. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane still to come on the South Today. Cruise ships are preparing to arrive in Port Chalmers again, with the first one booked in more than 2 years. And the All Blacks get a warm welcome as they settle into Dunedin ahead of their next big Irish clash.
Great Britain has a collection of varied landscapes and countryside to rival anywhere else in the world. And the best way to see it is to walk.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
Hi, we're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including interwalks. Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Drop when you
No mai hoki mai, welcome back. The first cruise ship in more than 2 years is set to arrive at Port Chalmers in less than 4 months' time. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, cruise ships generated more than $60 million into the Otago economy. With New Zealand's maritime border set to reopen at the end of this month, plans for cruise ships' arrivals have begun. The first ship booked is the Celebrity Eclipse, set to arrive on the 26th of October. However, before then, there's plenty to do, including recertifying the cruise ship gangways, which haven't been used for several years. A group of tiny and not so tiny dancers gathered to show off their best moves at the Dunedin Performing Arts Society's ballet competition over the weekend. More than 100 people took part, competing in a range of genres.
Putting their best feet forward and at times skyward. More than 100 dancers from as far away as Invercargill and north of Christchurch came to take part in the Dunedin Performing Arts Competition Society's event.
Most dancers will be at least dancing in 1 or 2 items or even more.
Dance-offs across many styles were held over 3 days at the Coronation Hall in Mosgiel. Emma Hutton is a Dunedin dancer on the Dance Association's Executive Committee and says there are some sought-after prizes on offer.
Dunedin Performing Arts is amazing for having so many different prizes and so many different special awards for different people, and they also have amazing sponsors that give us a lot of cash prizes, and there are many trophies up for grabs.
The weekend's event's being held in the Society's 120th year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The boys in black and white arrived at Dunedin Airport yesterday ahead of this weekend's clash against the Irish rugby team. The All Blacks received a warm welcome at Mimona from He Waka Katoia, the Kings and Queens High School's Māori Performing Arts group, plus a small group of fans and some curious onlookers. The All Blacks are up 1-0 in the 3-match series against Ireland. Their next test match is at Forsyth Bar Stadium this Saturday. Teams of collectors volunteered time to help Christchurch's Battered Women's Trust over the weekend. Their local annual appeal coincides with Te Whare Pounamu, or New Zealand Women Refuges' annual appeal.
Volunteers doing their bit to raise funds for Christchurch's Battered Women's Trust.
The need's absolutely huge. Some refuges are part government funded, but still leaves a huge gap to help support women and children at their time of need.
Trust fundraiser Sarah Malin says 1 woman in 3 is impacted by family violence, but an estimated 75% of cases aren't reported. The Trust, like women's refuges across Aotearoa, deal with the end results of domestic violence. Malin has a solid prevention message for anyone in an unsafe situation.
To phone, to speak to somebody, to phone 0800 Refuge, ask for help. There is help available if you need it. Don't wait ask for help. It's a hard time.
At the Avonhead Mall in the Ilam electorate, local Member of Parliament Sarah Pallett spent time on the stall collecting for the cause, which she says in an ideal world wouldn't be needed.
It is really sad that Battered Women's Christchurch is needed, that all of our refuges are needed, and obviously we're going to be working as hard as we can to make sure that that isn't the case in the future. But in the meantime, they've got a lot of important work to do.
2 Christchurch Girls High School students spent time fundraising as well. The pair are also part of a coffee selling project, which is raising money over the month of the Women's Refuge Appeal.
We have created a business called Co Cafe that does coffee with a portion of the profits going to Battered Women's Trust.
You can purchase our coffee online and you can find links to our website via our Facebook and Instagram, Co Cafe.
The pair say they began the project after seeing the statistics around family violence, describing the current situation as horrible, and felt they wanted to do something about it. July is National Women's Refuge Awareness Month. But the Co Cafe team say they're selling coffee to raise funds for the Battered Women's Trust through until October. In Christchurch, The South Today.
The sun smiled on the annual Naseby Ice Festival on Saturday, but the sunshine wasn't so bright as to melt the outdoor ice rink or luge track.
Naseby's Ice Festival was held on Saturday afternoon under clear skies and with plenty of frozen surfaces, both outdoors and in, for the public to enjoy. Along with the offer of ice skating, indoor curling and ice hockey practice for more experienced players, there was also the outdoor ice luge. Present on the day was Peter Prindle from Italy, who's spending his winter break coaching the New Zealand luge team.
It's the only natural track on the whole southern hemisphere, so they have to train here if they want to do it in the months of July and August.
While the ice luge is called a naturally frozen track, it actually does get some assistance from the indoor curling rink's large heat exchanger.
Indoor ice may be only using, we estimate probably 20 or 30% of the capacity of that plant, then that the rest of it could be used to refrigerate this track.
Saturday afternoon's Ice Festival attracted both locals and visitors from around the region. In Naseby, The South Today.
Whai Yakane after the break on The South Today. Final scores are in with the North Otago Premier Rugby League wrapping up their season. And while we're talking Red Devils, we'll check on the Canterbury ice hockey side after their opening round at the weekend.
Oh mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Being a big softie takes training. I've gone to great lengths to be super soft while still being strong and reliable. So I'm soft on you and soft on the environment.
Cotton Soft, proud sponsor of Bowel Cancer New Zealand.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Feed me more!
Tēnā koe, welcome back. The Kūrao rugby team, the Red Devils, firmly retained its hold on the Citizens' Shield on Saturday. A large crowd turned out at the Whitestone Contracting Stadium in Oamaru to watch Kūrao play against the Oamaru Old Boys. The match was the final in the North Otago Premier League, with Kūrao winning 36-28. Last year, Kūrao won the trophy for the first time in 39 years, and Saturday became the first time in 45 years the club has won consecutive championships. The opening round of the New Zealand Ice Hockey League kicked off in Christchurch on Saturday as the Canterbury Red Devils faced off against defending champions Sky City Stampede. The Red Devils had a secret weapon, rising international star Jacob Thomas, who was back in New Zealand during his off-season.
Excitement and nerves are plenty as players made ready for their season-opening ice hockey game at Christchurch's Alpine Ice Sports Centre on Saturday. Teams are vying for the Burgle Cup, the pinnacle of New Zealand's Ice Hockey Federation's national competition. Former champions, the Canterbury Red Devils, were gearing up for a tough game against the defending champions and six-time winners, Sky City Stampede.
Back to Dodwell, he's right out in front, shot, coming in, goal!
16-year-old Jacob Thomas of the Canterbury Red Devils scored first, with a well-executed deflection shot into the net. Thomas is back playing his second season for the Red Devils. At the age of 13, he was identified as a standout player and received a scholarship to the prestigious A21 Academy in Canada.
Going back in 3 weeks and going to the States for a summer program, going to be training there. And then come September, I'll be heading back for my last year of high school, and I'll be skating every day, playing a probably around 60-game schedule.
Thomas wants to be the first New Zealander to play in the NHL Professional Ice Hockey League in North America.
Big difference over there is just the style of hockey, the mindset of the players, because everyone wants to get to the top. And it's just completely different culture, different type of game as well.
Despite Thomas's efforts, Sky City Stampede proved too strong for the Canterbury Red Devils, going on to win the game 5-3. In Christchurch, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A Dunedin author with a book fit for a prince has been given high praise from the top of the tree after Jacinda Ardern gifted Tulip and Doug to Prince William. Police have beefed up their roadside testing with a specialist team in Queenstown to stamp out drink drivers on our roads. And a young apprentice butcher from Gardens New World in Dunedin will join 3 Kiwis to compete on the world stage in California in September. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the editor, Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Hannah.
Now, what can we expect in your paper tomorrow?
Some good stories, actually. Dunedin City Council, Regional Council have released a strategy regarding the future of South Dunedin. So some interesting points in that. It's a discussion document in many ways, but some revealing insights there. And red hot chili peppers.
Yeah,
peppers
how about that?
Are coming to town, isn't that great?
Best news.
Absolutely. And so we talked to Terry Davies from Forsyth Bar Stadium, DVML, and he is promising more. So,
this is the start of more concerts.
So this is the start of big things.
Bring it on.
Hopefully. And the wheels on the buses are turning.
Yes.
On attempts to relocate a bus depot from Princess Street in Dunedin.
Oh, on the move. Okay.
On the move. So we've talked about that previously, that they're looking at moving from that site, and it looks like they have found a site.
Cool. Oh, interesting. Yep.
So we'll have details of that in the paper tomorrow. And the Australians are invading Queenstown. So
is it a good thing?
Well, I think it is. I think it is for Queenstown anyway.
Yeah.
The general manager of a major hotel chain there is so busy that and understaffed that he's spending most of his time making beds. So there you go.
Wow. Well, it takes a team.
Well, it does. Leading from the top. So it's a good sign. So so lots happening in Queenstown. Of course, school holidays and a bit of snow on the hills. So on the mountains. So that's all positive for them. And Southern Health administrators are closely watching possible second wave of COVID. We had a little bit on that this morning, but there's more numbers are rising, so some alerts there, so have a look at that. And it's been a long time coming, but the Wanaka Birthing Centre is about to open. So that well, it has been confirmed for Wanaka, so that's great news for there. There's been a lot of trouble up there in securing that, so happy
Brilliant.
days.
Oh, we look forward to reading all those stories in tomorrow's paper. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
And now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MolMap.
Looking at the situation, a period of west to southwesterly airflow for the next few days will die out on Wednesday as a ridge of high pressure arrives from the Tasman Sea. Heading to the top of the South Island first. Cloud increasing before an afternoon of showers in Nelson and a high of 12 degrees. Greymouth will be wet too with chilly southwesterlies and a high of 11. And down to Christchurch, there'll be high cloud and southerlies with 12 as the high. To our southern towns now. Cloudy through here tomorrow and the westerlies will be quite gusty, so may batter things around a bit. Expect 11 degrees in the Catlins and Balclutha, while Lumsden and Gore head for 10. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, more strong westerlies and cloudy skies lie ahead through here. Queenstown will be chilly with a high of 10, Wanaka 11 degrees, 13 for Alexandra and showers for Te Anau with 10 degrees. To the northern towns next, and tomorrow's looking fine with westerlies for Timaru and Oamaru, both getting 14 as the high. And the fresh but light westerlies continue inland over in Twizel and Omarama, getting up to 11 degrees. Down to Dunedin, fine with westerlies tonight, dropping down to 6 degrees. Tuesday looks sunny with high cloud and nor'westerlies in the afternoon. The low will be 5 with a high of 14. Wednesday looks sunny again, another fine crisp day before a frosty night, dropping down to -1, and the high midweek will be 11 degrees. And now to Invercargill. Fresh westerlies continue through the night as it drops down to 7. Tomorrow will be a cloudy day with strong westerlies, down to 6 and up to 11. And Wednesday will be showery to start, then fine and sunny before a chilly night heading for 0, but the day's high will be 10 degrees. That's the news this Monday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.